If this shit works, I'm going to be amazed. So hang tight with me because I want to see. I'm not completely sure that it's working the way I want it to, but it didn't work on. It didn't work on. Oh shit! What is it? One stream. So stop. So I'm gonna look and see if I actually see it on here because I can't see myself. Good God. What the hell is it doing? You see, this is the kind of problems I have all the time. You would think that I know nothing about technology, but it's just one of those things that I have no luck when it comes to technology. So that's just kind of the way it is. Hey, somebody at least liked my comment when I said, looks like the live stream was a bust. Where's Rumble at on here? Right there. I got my iPad out too. I know. I'm just, but I do have, if you can't see it, do have a nice Indian tobacco. Piss off all you cigar purists. And I do have some, is in the spirit of the season, some salted caramel Crown Royal to piss all you purist bourbon people off. I'm excellent at pissing people off. So I'm a superstar at it. We're going to pour for more. I just felt like Christmas, and that was as Christmas as I could come up with. A coffee-infused cigar and some salted caramel whiskey. And I honestly have no idea if anybody can see this, and have no idea how to see it for myself on. I can change. I got more than one account. How about I sign out of that one? Sign back in with another one. What I'm here today to talk about is what I talked about on the other live stream, but you couldn't hear any of it. It was like blah, 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 and it would keep pixelating and all that. I use OneStream. I used to use Riverside. The Riverside, I can't live stream with. I can record for play later, but I was wanting to get live stream going because that's just what I wanted to do. And it's America. I wanted to do it. And we're in the 21st century. I should be able to do it, but not so fast. Ghost Ranger. You don't necessarily be able to get what you want. And I found out that you have to pay an exceptionally high penny to get what you want. And if I was making money doing this, I'd pay it, but I'm not making money doing this, so F it. But I'm going to try and do the best I can. So anyway, what I'm here to talk about today is that I've been watching the X postings all week. I really don't have the political, I mean, I have the Political Patriot on other platforms, I think, but X is where I do most of it because there's so much stuff that you get censored everywhere else. You know, I mean, it's just, you can get more stuff, more of your stuff out, should I say. So I'm predominantly on X. That's where, and that is really where most conservatives are now. There's still some liberals out there, but not nearly as many. Pardon me. I did not mean to belch that loud. I've had a couple of glasses of salted caramel. And so it is kind of getting to that point, you know. But anyway, I've still been watching all these people making their comments and all that kind of crap on X, and I see a lot of those people out there as low information voters when it comes to the stuff that they're talking about. They just don't really know. They know what they're being told, and they're being told that by people that they trust, because that person has a platform and can say whatever they want to say. And sorry, I'm using a lot of uhs, but I'm trying to type here at the same time. So they're doing exactly what they thought about the Democrats. It's true. All right. Now, how can I find my live stream? I'm actually in here now. Search the Political Patriot. That's me. So, hey, there he is. There's one of them. Doesn't tell me that there's a live stream going on though. Well, F. See, this is what I deal with all the time. I have no idea what's being shown, what's not being shown, who's listening, who's not listening. I don't know. Well, now I can see myself. I just touched the button and I can actually see myself, but I can only see part of myself. So I don't know how much of me you can see. So hopefully now you can see this ugly mug. I guess we'll figure out later if I'm actually live. But anyway, so I listen to these people and they're throwing out these numbers. Hey, all right. I am. Look at there. I am live on YouTube. So I am live, and I can actually see if you watch me on YouTube, I can't actually see the chat over there. So you can tell me I'm full of shit. I don't care. And I'll be like, well, thank you. A guy told me this weekend, I actually do work for Big Brother. I just won't say where. And he was like, yeah, well, I hope you lose your job. And I'm like, well, thank you. And I hope the same blessings upon you. So, which brings me to my point. And I'm going to try to be a little more direct than I was with the earlier failed live stream. Here it goes. If you have never heard of Milton Friedman, you need to go look him up. There are tons of videos on YouTube about Milton Friedman. Milton Friedman was an economist, passed away a few years ago, and a professor, probably one of the most economically astute individuals I think I've ever had the pleasure of listening to. And he used an example one time, talking about the economy, global economy. And so I thought I would use the same kind of example for this. We've all heard the people, I call them the super ultra MAGA people. Those are the people that they have no idea what they're talking about. They're going to run with whatever Trump, Elon, and Vivek say. They don't care if it's true. They don't care. All they care about is they said it, so it's got to be right. I voted for Trump 3 times, happily. That doesn't mean I agree with him 100% of the time. I'm a little more pragmatic than that, and you will hear that word several times. So Milton used an example of a pencil. So we're going to use this example. Currently, the federal government spends roughly a little under $2 billion a year on office supplies. They sound like a lot, but when you're talking about $6 trillion, it's a drop in the bucket. Gotta have a little Dr. Pepper. 0 sugar, I'm watching my figure. And I got to turn down the game because I don't want the NFL to come after me. Anyway, And NFL, if you are watching, that was totally accident. I'm not even gonna say who's playing. So I just happen to be watching TV. Anyway, so $2 billion a year. Now, let's say you own a company or you work for a company. That's a better example. You work for a company that manufactures wooden pencils, and your company grosses $20 million a year in sales. Maybe talking about the old wooden pencils. I know that they're not used all that much anymore, but you can still buy 10 for $1. Now, to manufacture those pencils, the manufacturer has to procure wood, let's say from the Northeast, Washington State, where all the big trees are. They have to procure graphite to go in the pencil. It comes from a graphite mine. I don't know where they mine graphite at, but anyway, they have to have paint on the outside of the pencil. Let's just say that they mix the paint in North Carolina. They have to have rubber for the eraser, and rubber comes from Southeast Asia, Malaysia, that area. And then you have to have brass to hold the eraser to the pencil. And I'm going to use the steel area, because I have no idea where they manufacture brass, but let's just say West Virginia, where the big steel mills are. All right. So you sell $20 million a year in pencils, and the government is half of your sales, $10 million. Now, Elon and Vivek propose to President-elect Trump, we need to slash the federal government by 75% on the very first day, shut everything down, only keep the absolute most dire of people. Okay? So he does it. What has that done? Has that gotten you what you want? Yeah. Just like the peasants at the Colosseum in Rome back in the gladiator days, you've gotten your blood. Most of the people that I see, I don't see a lot of pragmatic people posting on X, formerly Twitter. I see the people that are the peasants in the Colosseum. They want blood, and that's all they want. They want punitive damage on government employees because every government employee is a piece of shit. That's what they say. Even though 30% of federal employees are veterans. And we always talk about how much we love and want to, how much we want to praise our veterans. Yeah, you want to praise them until they become a government employee, and then they're shit. So anyway, is the government going to need $10 million a year in pencils if they let 75% of their staff go? Got to touch up light here just a little bit. The answer is no, they're not. So they're going to cancel any upcoming shipments, and they're like, we will wait and see how this shakes out before we decide what we're going to do. That's kind of the normal modus operandi. So the contract analyst that deals with that contract, I missed the spot, calls you and says, we're canceling your contract. Calls the owner, you work there, and says, we're canceling the contract. Well, what? You can't do that. That's half my sales. Sorry, we had to let 75% of our people go. We don't need pencils anymore. Oh, shit. That's bad. Testing, 1, 2. I got to moving around too much. I need a better microphone. But as with everything else, I'm on a budget because I don't make any money off doing this. I wish I did. Not like Joe Rogan. I don't care about that. But, I could at least cover expenses. That'd be good, for microphone, maybe some sound material, that kind of stuff. But anyway, back what I was saying. So he's like, oh, shit. What am I going to do now? You know what he's going to do? First thing he's going to do? He's going to call his personnel person in. He probably only has one, maybe two. We just lost our government contract. We're losing half our revenue. I need you to run me some figures on personnel so I can decide what we're gonna do here. And the first thing he's going to do is going to let about half his people go. Damn, that hurts. You just lost your job, more than likely. Flip of the coin. Two sides to each coin. So you probably just lost your job. And now they will say something, well, there's always the possibility that we could bring you back, but you should really go ahead and try and find you another job. So you just lost your job along with a whole shitload of people at your company, plus all the other companies that supply shit to the federal government, because they'll cut everything. They have to. They're getting rid of 75%, right? That's fire sale. That's everything. But not only did you lose your job, did the other people that, the companies that sell stuff to the government, manufacture products, whatever, not only did they lose their jobs, but as far as your company is concerned, you now have loggers that are out of work because you don't need the trees to make the pencils anymore. The graphite miners are out of work because you don't need the graphite to make the lead in the pencil anymore. The rubber tree people over in Southeast Asia, they're out of jobs because you don't need all the rubber anymore. The steel workers, the brass workers, whatever they are in West Virginia, they lost their job because this is the point I'm making is this doesn't just affect the federal government. This ripples out not only into the rest of our economy, but also a big chunk of the global economy. I'll let you digest that, and I'll wait. So I've been saying all week, be careful what you wish for, because you might get it. All those people in the stands at the Coliseum screaming for blood, wanting to punitively punish federal workers for just being federal workers. Yeah, you need to watch out, because it could be your job that gets come after, because there's no other choice. They can't keep manufacturing all the stuff that they're manufacturing if the government's not buying. May not be half the workforce, but it'll be a good chunk of it. You're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions. You're probably talking over 1.5 million people just with the government. Just with the government. Plus all the other companies combined. Millions of people out of work. Well, they'd find another job. All the contractors are now hurting. They had to let people go. They had no choice, right? Well, who has contracts with the government? Everybody. Even McDonald's. There's McDonald's on defense bases, military bases. McDonald's, Burger King, Subway, Pizza Hut. You go into a military storeroom, you will find little bitty rubber gaskets. You will find bolts, nuts, screws, plastic, all kinds of shit coming from all different places all over the country. They'll all lose jobs. My point is what I've been saying all week. We have to be pragmatic. We have to approach this not as a slash and burn fire sale, but as we need to refocus the government and shrink the size of government and get our spending under control and get our debt in a decline as opposed to being constantly in a rise. But we have to do it the right way, or it's going to screw with everybody. And that's not talking about, the Social Security payments, crop payments, all that kind of stuff. We're just talking about shit that the government buys. You're like, well, they still need it. No, they don't. If they get rid of 75% of the workforce, you going to need all those cars and trucks that the government owns? No. Are you going to be able to maintain all of the tanks and ships and planes and all? No. because there's a whole lot of civilian workers at work doing shit just like that. And now they're going to be out of work. Nobody to do the job. Maybe a little bit of an oversimplification, but it is true. So again, just be careful what you wish for, because you might get it, and we all might have a bunch of coal in our stocking for Christmas. Now, some of the things that they can get rid of easily. I got about 10 minutes left. I wasn't going to do more than 30 minutes. Now this is going to be an hour because I've already wasted 30 minutes over on the other place. I use two examples in the Department of Defense. The Zumwalt guided missile destroyer. This was actually the idea of the Zumwalt goes all the way back to like the early 2000s. It was going to be, shut up. It was going to be this super duper, better than ever guided missile destroyer that was going to just blow everybody else out of the water. We ordered 32 of them from whatever ship works are building it. The one down in Pascagoula, Mississippi. Now, they were supposed to cost $4 billion a piece, with a B, billion. And we wanted 32 of them. 120, 130 billion dollars. Drop in the bucket, right? Well, after the first one got built, the government cut their 32 down to 24. They could already see they weren't going to be able to get 32. And by the time it was all over with, the last one rolled off the, whatever they call it, in the dry dock. They rolled off into the water. They were supposed to cost $4 billion a piece, so they wound up costing $8 billion, double. And we had spent a total of $26 billion on the project. So there was an extra $2 billion in there that wasn't part of, manufacturing. I don't know. I'm not a shipbuilder, but it's a lot of damn money. And we have these 3 ships. They're not doing anything with them. They're all sitting in port. Well, why? We bought them because they found out after they built them, they weren't going to meet our needs. Maybe that's some shit we should have found out before we bought them. Now, this is a much better success story, but it's the cost, not the quality. The F-35 fighter, strike fighter, whatever they call it. Not a pilot either. I forgot how many hundreds of millions of dollars those things cost. And they are like 10 times better than any other fighter in the world. I mean, hell, I just saw Tom Hanks shoot down a 5th generation Chinese fighter in an old Tomcat. I know it's a movie, but you get what I mean. 2 platforms that we can never seem to get rid of because they work so well is the B-52, which has been in operation for 70 years. They just keep upgrading it, and it just keeps flying. And the A-10, call it the Warthog. It is a close air support aircraft that has been in service since the 1970s. And ground troops love it. And they pitch a fit every time the DOD talks about retiring those, because there's no other aircraft that can do what that aircraft does. It gets in low, it comes in slow, and it just eats the enemy's lunch with that big effing depleted uranium 20 millimeter cannon it has underneath the pilot. And the pilot sits in a bathtub, basically, made out of titanium So they always come back alive. I saw those aircraft come back shot to hell, still flying. If it works, why change it? Well, we got to spend money because we have to pay for the warmongering, the Raytheons and the Boeings and all those other places that, want to sell us new stuff because they need money. We didn't need the F-35. I mean, the F-117, like we first used that in, I think, the first Gulf War, and before the end of the decade, it was completely gone. We had 20 of them, and they lasted 4 or 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, something like that. They all got retired. Then we came out with some new ones, and then we came out with some new ones, and then we came out with some new ones. We must be pragmatic. We need to be focused, but we need to be careful, because if we're not, we'll end up effing some shit up, and then it'll be a whole hell of a lot worse trying to get us back to where we need to be. I mean, think about COVID without a virus. Everybody just having to stay home because there ain't no fucking work anywhere. You know what I mean? Elon said, and we'll try and wrap this up. They always talk about how Elon cut 90% of Twitter's workforce when he bought it. Well, yeah, he did. But what is Twitter? As Kamala said, it's in the cloud. It's in the cloud. She is right about that. I mean, it's not a brick and mortar thing. It's virtual. It's housed on servers, computer servers. But Elon doesn't own those. He leases those. He leases space on servers in third-party places like Atlanta. Huge server warehouse, and he leases space for Twitter to be housed on. The government is not Twitter. It owns thousands of buildings. It owns thousands of pieces of equipment, maybe millions of pieces of equipment, thousands of pieces of, when you're talking about trucks and cars and Humvees and ships and planes and all this other shit, and not necessarily stuff that the Defense Department uses. And you have to have people that can take care of that stuff. Even if you do say, well, we're going to get rid of it, still can't just get rid of it tomorrow. You can walk off and leave it like Biden did in Afghanistan. Is that what you want? All the military bases we have overseas, F them, shut them all down. Let's move out and leave all the equipment there. Well, we'll just have to hope that the Muslims don't get a hold of it. We have a whole lot of bases still in Germany, and they're having a big problem with the Muslim population over there, as you have seen this last week. I'm not saying don't reduce the size of government. I'm not saying make things more efficient. I'm saying be pragmatic about it. Be common sense about it. Do it in the right way. It's going to take time because there's too much of it. Elon needs to figure out what he thinks needs to be done. Present that to the president, and then the president's people that are actual, not just a blue ribbon panel that has nothing to do with the government like Elon and Vivek are, that actually have skin in the game, decide how can we make this work. I would say need to probably be more like a 10-year plan. Like I said in the beginning, only got a few seconds left. First thing you do, slash last year's spending by 10%. Start from there, and then start moving forward, trying to reduce until we get to be together again. Freedom reigns.